that donut heaven place.
I'm glad that the donut heaven can actually be a donut heaven for you.
I'm glad I found that place. Thank you for getting sick that one time. And sending me to CVS before
To find heaven.
No, to send me on an emergency pharmacy run and make it there before the pharmacy actually opened, and therefore forcing my hand to discover this beautiful haven.
I'm glad that I could help you find donuts. I feel like that's a love language.
Yep.
Come on, let's find them. We are Lenny and Tamika Caston Miller, building a collaborative space for farming, collaborative gardening, yoga, and art. Follow our journey to see how we do all of this on a shoestring. All right, so here's the thing.
What's the thing?
All right, so I had this aha moment.
You have a lot of aha moments.
Are you happy sighing? All right.
Your aha moments always make more work for me.
No, this is a good aha moment. Okay, so I'm now thinking, so I was just learning about biennials, right?
What's a biennial?
Wait,
I know this one. It flowers every other year.
What?
It flowers every other year.
Yeah, or it doesn't flower the first year, but it does the second year. It's not necessarily every other year. It's like a misnomer because.
I mean, does it only grow for 2 years and die?
No,
So
but
then it's every other year.
No, it doesn't flower the first year, but it flowers the second year. But then it flowers every year after that. So it's not a true biennial. It's only a biennial the first year.
Well,
it's essentially a perennial, and it takes a whole year to come to maturity.
Well, I think that's a better classification.
Well, I do too. That's why they're classified as perennials on the packets, not biennials. But Johnny Seed started putting biennials, so now people actually refer to it as such. But like Johnny Seed isn't God, even though people think that they are. Anyway, so the point is I had this aha moment. What if all the things that haven't grown for us are just biennial? So like they're just taking 365 days
to germinate.
They germinate, they just don't always they will germinate. So sometimes things take a long time. There's something that grows that takes 60 days just to germinate. I can't remember what it is. It's possible.
You're talking about 365 days to germinate.
No, but what I'm saying is that sometimes we get that one, apparently that burning bush though is invasive, so thank goodness it never came up. Or did it? But anyway, it's supposed to take all that time to, do its thing. It puts out all the greenery, the foliage, or as they say in the Pacific Northwest, foliage. I'm like, there's a whole eye in there. It's foliage.
I was listening to this podcast the other day, and the lady that was talking, she kept saying she was from Asheville. And I'm
North Carolina?
And I'm like, where the heck's Asheville? But then the other lady on the podcast was saying Nashville. And I'm like, y'all just don't say the N?
They don't say Nashville, they say Nashville.
I don't know, but I was like, where the hell is this place?
Asheville's in North Carolina.
No, I was wondering where they were because I couldn't understand what she was saying because she wasn't pronouncing the N.
Oh, because they're Southern and you're from Northern California, and so y'all don't speak each other's languages. It's two totally different dialects of English. Okay, so anywho, my point is...
What's your point?
Is maybe there aren't things that are failures, maybe there are things that are just taking their biennial, and so they're putting out their foliage. There are 3 syllables in that word. So they're putting out their foliage this year, and they're going to put out their blossoms the following year.
Well, then that means you need to stop redesigning the farm every couple
I haven't redesigned the farm okay, so let's get into farm design. All right, so again,
We've done this before.
we have not designed the farm. No, not the whole, just like what we're planting and where. I think this will be a really great Virgo moment for you.
But I don't care what you plant, baby. I don't want.
Stop.
Whatever you want to
Stop
sell,
it.
whatever you
No.
want to sell.
You do have opinions. You have lots of opinions.
No.
You just like to give them post haste because you like to drive me crazy when it comes to your opinions.
I'm just a visual person, baby.
I know. Let's be visual together.
I can't. You're being theoretical right now.
No, we're gonna be visual. I say we take the little pictures and packets and we actually like put them there and we organize things by height, by
age, height,
No.
weight, and age.
Shut up. No, it's not like
Is
cheerleading squad. No, we're gonna sit there. We're gonna
Is it like Yahoo Messenger, ASL, age, sex, live?
Ave María. Ave María, me vas a sacar a hablar español porque me está jodiendo la vida. No, babe. What we're gonna do, okay, this is what I think. How do you want to organize it? Like when you're walking.
I don't.
Shut up!
I don't like
I don't want to hear
organizing.
it. Listen.
I'm good at keeping something organized, but
okay.
I don't like organizing.
When you're experiencing, listen, when I sit there and I say Banana Grove, you have lots of opinions about that. Right? Okay, so, because I want a grove and I want a big ass, I want it to be like,
what?
I'm not talking about the farm in this moment. It's like a big ass banana grove where you're like where you need a machete to cut through it, and it's like a whole different temperature in there.
You don't even like bugs. Why would you want to?
Banana groves don't cause bugs.
And then like there's like
Those are
snakes and lizards and all sorts of like
not a
stuff
banana
that's gonna
grove.
kill you.
No, we don't even have anything that kills us on this property. I mean, maybe some mushrooms. But anyway, the point is when I say grove, you don't like that idea, right? You like angular lines. So this is like your dream project because they're all in these little neurotically drawn lines and you love neurosis.
But you never follow a plan.
We have to follow the plan. This is the farm. This isn't a garden. This isn't a fuck around and find out and like do whatever we want. This is like money. This is, we are going according to the schedule. So what I'm thinking is that we do our things that we're going to direct sow, like we know what those are and we put those together, and then we do our things that are going to be transplanted, and we just need to know what's coming up when. Is it an annual? Is it a perennial? All of our perennials aren't going to flower the first year. Maybe some will. But like, you know what I mean?
I hear the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth?
But when you talk about like the details, I kind of zone out.
All right, let's get to planning. Yay. All right, so we're gonna do this. Okay, so we just need to look at we're gonna Google the pretty pictures and you're gonna say, I like that. And I'm gonna be like, great. Where do you think it should be? In the middle, in the back, or in the front? That sounds easy enough, right?
No, sounds like a trap.
Shut up. Okay, so we got Florette's help right here. We're gonna create this. See, this is like a little farm map. Doesn't this make you happy? You love stuff like this.
It feels very overwhelming, actually.
It's a plan. Look at it.
There's a lot going on with that.
Well, ours is gonna not be so difficult, but there's a whole planting key. I feel like she's either a Virgo or a Capricorn. All right, let's make our plan. We're gonna make a plan like this. Okay, so what bothers me about this is that I still have a lot to work out to figure out about this. Because, okay, so according to Laurette's recommendations, we're essentially going to create our first 8 rows in a space that can be, where we're gonna have our succession planting in the first 8 rows. And by that meaning taking out our spring flowers and putting in our summer flowers. However, what I want to do is succession planting within, I want to plant fewer varieties, but more of each one. Because what I don't want to do is learn like 1,000 different plants this year, right? So what I'm thinking is that we have, I think our total rows are going to be, we're going to have 18 or 20 rows. Is what my math has come up with. So for iteration number 1. So I think it's going to be 18 rows that are 4 inches wide. 4 feet wide. Shut up. 4 feet wide. And then on this side, they're 30 feet long. And then we'll have the other one where it is also, the biggest question for me is, do we want to do 4 foot wide rows or 3 foot wide rows? The first one we have down, do you remember how wide that one is? You were there when I was measuring. I think it's 2 feet. So do we want to keep 3 foot rows or do we want to go 4 feet? What do you think?
You measured out 4 feet and 2 feet.
Oh yeah, I already measured it, huh? All right, so we're going to do 4 feet with 2 foot aisles. Why are you shaking your head at me?
I'm not.
Yes, you are. You literally just shook your head.
No, I literally just chuckled.
Oh, okay, that's better. All right, so 4 feet is what we're going with, at least on this side. That's a lot of plants. But we can't do it.
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna beat you over the head with your art, and then I've ruined both you and the art. Look at it. I'm gonna stab you with your own art. Feels very Van Gogh-ish. Look, a little piece broke off.
It broke off before it was fired.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, then it's art. All right. I feel like this is Virgo language. Like, I feel like this should make sense to you. How does this not make sense to you?
I mean, I didn't say it didn't make sense.
There you see.
But I said it's overwhelming. It's a lot.
Should we take a few rows at a time? My question is this: do we want short to tall? Like, what do we want it to feel like?
Do
we want to
what do you want it?
Stop it!
It's your project.
Stop it!
It's your passion project.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna.
It's not my passion project, baby. It's your passion project.
This is not a passion project. This is a job. Now do your job. All right, so.
I'm not invested in this job. I'm invested in us.
Oh my gosh, shut up. Okay. Now, when we're walking out there, do we want it to go short to tall? Does it matter? Does any of that matter? Like the height of things, the colors of things. Like when you're walking through these rows, do you think it's gonna matter? answer the question.
Aesthetics always matter.
Okay, so how do we want it to feel? How do you want to feel? Like what draws your attention? Is it color? Is it height? Is it both?
For me, it's form and texture and line. Those are my 3 elements.
If you talk to me in ceramics terms again, I swear. All right.
Well, that was just art terms, but yes.
All right, so what does the form look like? Because I think it's just going to be boxes.
I'm very geometric in my form, loves. I can always mess around with a good circle. I love a great curve.
Do we have any curves in this? I think eventually we have a tulip labyrinth, but that's not going to happen this year. We don't have enough tulips. All right, so we're gonna look at what we do have and what's going in, and then we're gonna go from there. It looks as though, according to this, she's gone spring to, or cool crop to warm crops is what I'm seeing. But it makes me wonder what's happening with these rows that are supposed to have the warm crop. Like, were they just empty? That doesn't seem to make sense. I guess the biggest question is, I don't know the biggest question.
Hey Siri, what's the biggest question?
Why are we here? Siri answered in a whole different room. It shocks me how much Siri in the office listens to what we talk about. Okay, I say that what we do is we look at what we're planting and what it looks like, and then from there we just discern where we want to put it. Okay? And we do it according to bloom time. I mean, it would be kind of cool, like if things bloomed like in an order, you know what I mean? So the first blooms are...
Do you want a cascading bloom plant?
Yes! I want a cascading bloom situation. That's the language I needed.
You're welcome.
See, when you work with me, we create magic together.
I always work with you.
Okay.
You just don't always like my answers.
That's because they're largely antagonistic and contrarian. Okay, so.
I'll agree to disagree.
Okay. All right, so let's do it. Okay, also, do we take a chance on dahlias? In theory, there is a place where we can get them, like pre-chilled or whatever. I just don't know if I want to... I don't know if I want to work that hard. Like, we would have to create a whole, like, I really think that we need a hoop house just for dahlias. I feel like they'll sell, but also, what is a dahlia giving to a bouquet that a zinnia can't give? Like, dahlias look great as single flowers. They also look good in, like, you know, like table landscapes or bouquets or whatever, like bouquets that are like floral design. But unless we have some floral design gigs out there, which I don't know that I would accept anyway, more so than a one-off business, like, does it make sense to grow them? I don't know. I feel like we're late on it anyway.
Sure.
So I'm thinking maybe we skip dahlias this year, or we have a little test patch of dahlias before we like go all in on spending a whole bunch of money on a flower that I don't even know if I can get it to grow in the city of Houston.
It's a smarter thing to do.
But what I know for sure,
You do have a tendency to jump full on into things. So yeah, a little toe test never hurts anything.
like a little ease my way in type situation.
You never ease your way. You just jump in.
Yes, I do. All right, so also what I think I'm going to do differently than this suggestion. In this suggestion, there are 26. What are they called? Rows over 143 feet. We currently have, essentially, we have it plotted out for 105 feet if we don't take into consideration the bulb area. So if we're only looking at the place where we've already put down silage tarp, that's 30 by 105 feet. So with that said, that's looking more like 18, 17 rows, okay? So what I'm thinking is that we actually just but this is also spanned at 65 feet, I think it is, according to what's on this little map. And so in theory, we have 30 feet, then a 10-foot aisle, and then another 30 feet. So we also have to take it into consideration that this is our total width versus, and it doesn't have an aisle in the center. So what I'm thinking is that we essentially split this in half in both ways. So we'll have plan for 18 rows, 105 foot deep, 30 feet wide, and then we'll split each row into 3 like we already did. Does that make sense? Is that Virgo for yes? Okay. All right, so if we want, we can figure out like what type of things these are. I feel like what I've already figured out is that these are cool crops, which works really well with how we already have things set up. And then these are foliage, and then I think these are the slower to grow, and this is foliage, and then all of this is warm stuff. And these are like herbs and foliage. I think I figured it out. All right, so I think we got this. I think it's a pretty easy design. And then all we have to do from there is that we're going to take our design, we're going to figure out how closely we want them planted to one another, and then we're going to just like spray it out on the land, and then we'll actually we won't be able to spray it out because we got to put the soil on top. So, and we don't want to scrape the soil. So, but we'll know because we'll take our little map out there with us so that we know if we're planting 6 inches apart, 9 inches apart, 12 inches apart, or whatever. So that's the other thing we want to put on our little map. We use some like calf action, baby. Okay, got it? Look, some Capricorn or Virgo definitely made this double clipboard action. Like, this is amazing.
It's just a drawing board, babe. Just a drawing.
It's a double clipboard. Let me have my world. I mean, that's not good. Beginner, my rookie mistake.